change. So beforehand, they usually will tell you all kinds of stories about things that they do and use all kinds of words. And then all of a sudden, when they find out you're a minister, things conveniently get edited out of the story. And people often will apologize for cursing and things like that. You all right? Okay. But the thing about Sunny is she doesn't care that I'm a minister. And she uses all kinds of colorful language, which I appreciate. Oh, I'm about to. One of the things about Jesus is that people love Jesus, and they were just naturally attracted to him, and they were able to be themselves. And there is no time that I'm more closer to Jesus than when Sunny flips me the bird. Yes. With Gene, I appreciate with Gene his selfless attitude and how he serves Sunny. There's countless times I've heard stories of him renovating the house, building things. I do not like bumblebees. Thank you. My mom put the terror of bees in my life. So. But anyways, as I think about Gene, honestly, and I don't say this to be overly sentimental, but he does make me want to be a better man, because when I look at the stories and see the things that he does for Sunny and for himself, I guess, I'm just impressed, because I can't do any of that. Like, I've seen pictures of him redoing floors and houses and cars, and it just really amazes me that he's able to do something like that. And beyond that, Gene is the only man I've ever seen so many pictures topless. And what is really kind of odd and strange about that is most of the pictures I've seen have been online. And that's right. My wife and I often hear so many stories about people who have been to their house, have just been so blessed by their hospitality. So many card games and parties and things like that. It just speaks to the character and just the kind of people that Sunny and Gene are. And so I really am blessed to be a part of this, and just very thankful that they asked me to do it, and very honored to be here with them today. Now, for Gene and Sunny, as we join with you in celebrating this special day, I would like us to consider a few things about marriage. And this is the part that I really love, because I told Sunny every time that she picks on me, I'm going to add about 5 minutes to the ceremony, especially talking about Jesus, just to make her feel really uncomfortable. So this is going to be awesome. So you guys might want to get another round of drinks. When we met together, we talked about marriage. And people think about marriage in many different ways, but there really are 2 different ways that you can do marriage. You can do marriage by an agreement, where you enter in agreeing to be the partner of this other person. And that's kind of our default, the way we look at relationships. We think as long as the other person invests, I will invest. As long as the other person forgives, I will forgive. As long as the other person loves, I will love. And this kind of marriage operates on a 50-50 basis, that I will give 50% if the other person gives 50%, and we will have 100% of a relationship. A marriage in this model will only survive if everything is fair. But the problem is, life is not fair. And it's very difficult, if not impossible, to sustain a relationship like that, because we are all inherently selfish. And it's difficult to give of yourself to someone else based on an agreement. The other model of marriage is a promise. A promise says, I will invest in this relationship even if the other person does not. That I will forgive even if the other person is not regretful. I will love even if the other person does not love. I will serve even if the other person remains selfish. This model is a 0-100% model. That I will give 100% to this relationship even if the other person gives none. The problem is that this model of marriage is impossible for the selfish person, and we are all at heart selfish people. And none of us want to admit that having an agreement-based relationship is bad. We all assume that kind of relationship, but we all want a marriage or relationship based on promise. But the difficulty is when we are offended, that's when we really find out what kind of a relationship we have. Because it's easy sitting up here or standing up here talking about forgiving other people, but it's difficult when the other person has offended us and does not seek forgiveness. But a marriage that's modeled on a promise is a picture to us of what's called the gospel. The gospel is God's good news about his love towards us. Now, many of us assume that God does love us, but the question is, how does God love us? In the Bible, God offers his love to us as a promise, not as an agreement. The reality is that many of us think that if we're good people, that God will reward us with his love and his blessing, but God's love is a promise, so that even when we're not good people, even when we are selfish, just like in a human relationship, he still comes to us in a promise. God's love is not abstract. He demonstrates it, and in the same way with a human relationship, our love is not abstract. We demonstrate our love. We can talk all day about how much we love someone else, but if we never demonstrate it, we don't truly love the other person. God demonstrates his love for us in that while we were sinners, while we were selfish, he became a man just like us, took on our nature without any sin, died in our place, took all of the pain and trouble and trials and justice that we deserve, and offers us a new life. And he still offers us this love, even if we don't believe it, even if we're skeptical, and even if we don't believe God exists. So Gene and Sonny, all of us long for a relationship that's based on a promise, but we often settle for a relationship based on an agreement. And your marriage will only live if you both die to yourselves. And the most difficult time to die to yourself is when the other person is living for themselves. But we must remember Christ died for us when we lived for ourselves. And so my desire and hope for both of you is that you will embrace a marriage based on a promise, that you will die to yourself to serve one another. Now I would like us to pledge, I would like you guys to pledge to each other your love for one another and commitment in marriage. Gene and Sonny, upon entering into marriage, we understand that although we long for a marriage based on promise, we often settle for a marriage based on agreement. All of us wrestles with selfishness and unrealistic desire for fairness and the difficulty in fully embracing others. We realize some of life's greatest blessings and joys are experienced in the commitment of marriage, and therefore with God's help and by his power and grace, we can enter into marriage with confidence. Gene, as a promise to love and serve and honor Sonny before God and others, do you take Sonny to be your wife?
Why not?
Oh, are you kidding me?
Yes. And Sonny, as a promise to love and serve and honor Gene before God and others, do you take Gene to be your husband? Now, reluctantly, before God and all of these people, I would like you to declare your vows to one another.